that with a little flair like that.
You know,
Three?
I try to do like a two,
Why
one.
is...
That makes me think of the
Thank
owl.
you. The,
The
the Tootsie Roll pop.
one, two,
Three.
three.
Arr. Yeah, I love it. Which is also the same level of patience that I have when eating a fucking Tootsie. First of all, I don't really like lollipops much, but yeah.
You know what? Funny story about Tootsie Rolls. The kids, they had vaccines or whatever, and they got to pick a lollipop. Who picks a brown Tootsie
What in
Pop?
God's name?
These are not
I
my
like
children.
I like the blue ones. If I'm gonna have any of that shit,
I like the blue and the red. Those are
I
the
can't.
best.
Yeah, there's isn't there like a lime green one too? I like that one too, like apple. I think it's sour apple.
I think that's a blow pop.
Oh, whatever. It's all the same shit to me, except one's a Tootsie Center, one's like gum. Whatever.
Anyways, welcome back to Oddities. I'm Kelly.
And I'm Cassie. And
welcome back to Strange Town.
that's right, bitch. Take it away. Yes.
All of our shit's linked down below. Follow us on social media. Buy our merch. Chug, 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 chug. Cassie's drinking anniversary champagne right now.
Yeah.
You go, girl.
Thank you.
Huge shout out to our wonderful and amazing merch designer, Lindsay Bitwell.
Yep.
She's phenomenal. Her link is down below. Check her out if you're looking for an amazing designer. She is your girl.
Do it.
That's it. And that's all I have for you. That's it. Bye-bye.
Stay strange. How?
Wow. I just friggin' took all of that.
You killed it. You did it. That was like the training wheels are off. I felt like a parent, like when you're
flying.
When you're pushing the kid on the bike and you just like secretly let go and they don't know and they're just soaring, and that's well done you.
Do you
I
know
mean,
how I know I did well there? Cassie was in fact chugging champagne.
I was drinking. I was like, I can just kick the fuck back now. Yes.
The girl is doing it.
I love that. Well done you.
How
are you?
You know how I do.
But they don't know.
Cassie received a text from me earlier today, because it was, I don't know what time it was, but regardless. And all it said was, I'm fucking done. And then I sent her a photo of my child's hair on the counter. That's right. My youngest chopped his hair off again. Again, mind you.
Again. Correct.
This time, it's not as bad as the first time. The first time he just chopped off those bangs in a really unfun manner. This time he just chopped off a huge chunk off the back of his head. So we're either going to try to blend it or he's getting a buzz cut. Either way, Cassie says it'll look cute, so I accept that.
He will, so it doesn't matter. Full blown, like when I got that message, I didn't see the first part where you're like, I'm fucking done. I just saw a chunk of hair and I was like, oh my God. Like, I was going to write back, like, are you okay? Like, are you feeling okay? Like, what? Why is a huge chunk of... And then I was like, no, that's too short. That's too short. And then I put two and two together when I saw the I'm fucking done. And I was like, we're back.
Which, disclaimer, my kids are out in the living room, which is just outside the room I'm in. Their father is not home from work yet. If they interrupt, they interrupt. That's what you guys are paying for, because you're not paying for anything.
That's right. I too like to live dangerously. So, well, between the two of us,
Bluey, it should be fine.
This will be a real fucking, between that and the fact that I'm on my second or third.
You said this was your second.
Second. I know that I'm looking at it though. Second glass of Champers. I mean, we're just in for a good fucking time all around.
Woo.
Hell yeah.
I love this for you.
Thank you.
You know what's funny? You sent me a photo of your champagne, and I was like, oh, the glasses I made you. Not paying attention to the fact that you are drinking.
You're like, oh, and she's drinking again. That too. No. I love that.
And then the caption was, I'm celebrating my anniversary early.
So this
and
has
that
been...
I can fully support, friends.
This has been a fucking ride of a week. Let me tell you.
My gosh. Yeah, go ahead. Because I have choice words to say about the situation too.
Dude, me too. The bloodbath we're recording in advance, of course, as per usual. The bloodbath that was getting Taylor Swift tickets. I will have everyone know I am one of the very lucky few who have, in fact, secured Taylor Swift tickets.
2 tickets.
I'm living out my dream that I've been waiting to do for like 15, I think closer to 16 years at this point. I am going to see her. I have floor seats. I'm in the 16th row, and I am not trying to brag, but I am fucking thrilled.
There is nothing to brag about that. This is dreams coming true. If anyone's jealous about it, they can kiss my butt personally.
True. Like, I fully acknowledge how lucky I am because this was a shit show. Also, just side note, everybody, I'm going to the Philadelphia show May 12th, Friday, May 12th. If anybody's gonna like be there, just like hit me up. Let me know. Message Oddities. We'll try and meet up and say hi.
That would be fun.
I will be dressed like an idiot. I mean, like, I'm fucking... I gotta dress to impress. Like, I have to get noticed. So,
yep,
we're going all out.
I fully agree with this. That's why I've sent you several Taylor Swift inspired
You have.
outfits.
I'm still considering Zombie Swift from her like "Look What You Made Me Do" video, and Corey can be my headstone. I'll just make him a T-shirt, but yeah.
I take this.
Right? Like, if that's not gonna get me noticed, I don't know what the fuck would. Oh. Kellie's shaking her head now. One of them has entered the room.
It's the tiny one.
Oh, no. Oh, the hair extraordinaire.
Tiny one.
What did he say?
I don't know if I want that on recording.
Leave it in. Leave it in. Regardless, this has been a whole fucking mess. So, it took me 4 hours to get my tickets. That was with the verified fan like thing and theoretically a boost. I don't think I got a boost at all because when I got in there, I had like 23,000 people ahead of me.
And then it crashed.
And then it crashed.
Like 6,000 people in front of you.
Then it paused for 2 hours, and I just didn't know. And then I became an expert in computer science and reading source code. I don't know what the fuck was going on, and there's a big investigation, and it's all a fucking shit show. I swear to God. I just hope they don't take my tickets away. I hope they aren't like, and to be fair, everybody gets refunded and we're doing it all again. I would fucking shit.
No, that would be unacceptable at this point.
I couldn't.
Everything that they've done at this point is unacceptable. I'm going to throw it out there. But first, this is what I'm going to say about the situation. Those who desperately wanted tickets and were able to secure tickets, congratulations to you.
Yes.
Those who abused the system, got early access, and then turned around and tried to sell your tickets for $8,000.
Fuck you.
Like StubHub and shit.
Fuck you.
I deserve to have a Lego glued in your sock permanently for the rest of your life.
That's right. Fuck you.
Secondly, when Cassie was in the depths of the Hunger Games,
oh my God.
I kept saying, this just doesn't feel like a pre-sale. Something about this pre-sale doesn't feel very pre-sale to me.
Yeah.
And what does Ticketmaster fucking tweet today?
Yep. They tweeted that they were expecting
1 million people and they had 14 million.
Yeah.
Like there's no tickets available for the rest of everyone else.
My friends,
wasn't selected.
You shit the bed in the biggest way possible.
Ticketmaster, you are the most hated platform in the entire world right now.
Somebody definitely got fired.
Oh, big time.
The end.
And actually, the only good thing that came out of this was the memes.
Oh my God, the memes and the tweets and it was dude. But when I tell
AOC going off about Ticketmaster and then
amazing.
Someone tweeting underneath, you couldn't get tickets either.
Amazing. And I have to say, what is it that I have to say? What was I gonna say just now? Oh my God, it's
this interruption.
Oh.
Children, out. I told you Mommy's recording. No, there's no stopping.
There's no stop. Can't stop me now. I was just going to say, when I finally got through, though, I was like a woman possessed. I literally left my body. I swear to God, it was an out-of-body experience. I fucking blacked out, and then all of a sudden, they were in my cart, and I hit purchase, and it was done, and I was like, oh my God. I can't even.
I don't think the term blackout even remotely describes what happened with you.
I literally was like, I got in and I was a machine. A machine. I was like,
I
no.
jokingly made a comment after she bought the tickets saying, like, I think that's like a good enough workout for the day. And she goes, my heart rate's 120. No, really, it was a good enough workout.
It was legitimately, yeah. Like I decided at the end, I was like, wow, that was wild. And I decided to check my Fitbit and it was full blown. It was at 120. And I was like, well, we're resting now. And that's it. But seriously, I literally like, I was I can't begin to tell you what overcame me once I entered. Like, I swear to God, now I know that if there was a Hunger Games, I could throw the fuck down like nobody's business.
Yeah, no, I never doubted you in the first place with that.
I love you for that. Thank you.
And this was also a great opportunity for me because I got to use my favorite meme in the entire, my favorite GIF meme thing, whatever. It's done.
Frodo.
It's done.
Frodo the bitch Baggins. I loved it so much. It's over. It's done. It was amazing. And I'm thrilled to say I'm going, but I feel terrible for the people who got so fucked over in this.
Yeah, it's not fair. It's ridiculous. I'm gonna pause for just a second and kick the kids out.
Okay,
that's what it is. So
okay.
1 second. I'm the worst. I'm sorry.
You're not the worst. It's fine. These things happen. We're fine. We're good. It's all good.
Margaritas tonight. That's what's happening.
Big margarita, and
I'm thinking wine because we're having spaghetti.
Why not both? Arriba, baby. So, on all of that shenanigans, because I'm sure there was a dose of elevator music in there.
Probably.
Should we get the party started?
Let's get the party freaking started.
Okay, I have a longer one. You have a shorter one. How we want to do this? What would make your heart sing?
I'm thinking you should go first.
Yeah?
Because mine really is short, sweet. It shouldn't be as funny as it is, but honestly, it is. And I'll get there when I get there. But yeah, let's start with yours, and then we'll end on sassy and stupidly funny.
I love that. All right, kids. This week, this is a long, sought-after topic. I've actually had several of you write in saying that you'd like me to cover this topic because I talk about it all the time. And I can't remember which of you did it last, and I was finally like, fine, I will. So anyway, thank you to many listeners. Also, my Chinese is arriving. Isn't that exciting? I'm going to have some Chinese food waiting for me. Yes, bitch. Yes, you should. With a margarita and wine. Anyway, today, kids, today, children, I'm talking to you about spiritualism. Ooh. So, again, you've heard me talk about this on and off, but here we're going to do a Spiritualism 101. Welcome to class, kids. Buckle up. Professor Cassie's in his house. So spiritualism is the metaphysical school of thought opposing physicalism, and also is the category of all spiritual beliefs, views, from ancient to modern. In the 19th century, spiritualism became most known as a social religious movement, according to which the laws of nature and of God, which include, quote, the continuity of consciousness and the transition after death. I see dead people. And, quote, the possibility of communication between those living on Earth and those who have made the transition. So basically, the backbone of this is, hey, when you die, it's not all over. There's spookalabookala about the end. So, direct quote. The afterlife, also known as the spirit world, is seen by spiritualists not as a static place, but as one in which spirits continue to evolve. So, even after you die, you, continue to, learn and grow, and which I kind of like that. These two beliefs, so that contact with the spirits is possible and that spirits are more advanced than humans, led spiritualists to a third belief, and that is that spirits are capable of providing useful insight regarding moral and ethical issues, as well as about the nature of God. So they're like, wow, they're more evolved than us, they're smarter than us, let's turn to them for some shit. So, some spiritualists will speak of a concept which they refer to as spirit guides, which we've heard this term. Basically, specific spirits, often contacted, who are relied upon for, quote-unquote, spiritual guidance. Surprise, surprise. So, it developed and reached its peak growth in membership from the 1840s to the 1920s. So, we had a nice stretch of time there, almost 100 years, especially in, English-speaking countries. By 1897... spiritualism was said to have more than 8 million followers in the United States and Europe. mostly drawn from middle and upper classes. So we had a certain je ne sais quoi there going on. So,
Click.
right, indeed, aka the people with money. So spiritualism flourished for like half a century without any canonical texts or formal organization, and they attained cohesion through periodicals, tours by trance lecturers, camp meetings, and missionary activities of like accomplished mediums. And many prominent spiritualists were women, which we love that. And like most spiritualists, supported causes such as the abolition of slavery and women's suffrage. Snaps. By the late 1880s, the credibility of like this relatively informal movement had started to like weaken due to like accusations of fraud perpetrated by mediums, which I've touched on this with like the Fox sisters and ectoplasm a little bit, and formal spiritualization. Jesus, formal spiritualist organizations started to appear. So like they actually started organizing into groups. Spiritualism is currently practiced primarily through various denominational spiritualist churches in the U.S., Canada, and the U.K. So it's still a thing. If you want, guys, you could like join a church for it. That's cool. Whatever. So spiritualism, I'm dying, and its belief system became protected characteristics under what's known as the law in the UK. Law with a capital L. It's just law. In 2009 by Alan Power at the UKEAT, which is an appeals court in London, England. I've talked about the idea of like mediumship and spirits and stuff before, again with the Fox sisters, but like also we did a whole other one where we had Josh from Out There Cryptids on. I also talked about like ectoplasm in this too, but like spiritualists believe, like I've said, on this whole communication with dead people, right? And so they believe that spirit mediums are gifted to carry on this communication and that anyone can become a medium through study and practice. So they're like, no, you don't have to have a gift per se. You can like just hone this shit, which is cool. They feel that spirits are capable of growth and perfection, progressing through higher spheres and planes, and that the afterlife is not a static state again, but it's one in which the spirits will continue to evolve. Which kind of reminds me like a little bit of Buddhism, but like the opposite, because in Buddhism it's like, yeah, you'll just like, you'll get higher and higher with like your, the shit and attain enlightenment and whatnot. And they're like, yeah, but dead people do that. So anyway, the two beliefs that the contact with spirits is possible and that spirits may dwell on a higher plane, of course, led to this third belief too, that I said that spirits can provide knowledge. And so that's why a lot of these times in these seances, like held by like the upper class, they would go and they would have these things for like advice on shit, or they would be like, I think some of them probably, like, I believe I read at one point, like they even like turn to mediums and shit to get guidance from spirits on like investments and like things like that, whatever. So it's kind of bizarre, but like kind of cool at the same time, I guess. So anyway, according to spiritualists, like I said, anybody can receive these spirit messages, but formal communication sessions, also known as seances, are held by mediums who claim thereby to receive information about the afterlife. It first, let me talk about the origins a little bit, like how this all really started. So it first appeared in the 1840s in what's known as like the burned over district or the burned over region of upstate New York. And it was called this. Were you going to say something?
No.
Oh, okay. It was called this because of the previous like religious fervor that would like ignite within people. And so hence the burned over region. So there were earlier religious movements like Millerism and Mormonism that had emerged during the Second Great Awakening. Although, and then spiritualism, some say, is kind of like a sharp contrast to that. They're like, no, but like we can talk to dead people. I don't know. It was this region of New York State was like this environment in which many thought direct communication with like spirits or even God or angels was possible, and that God would not behave harshly. Like, for example, like he would not condemn unbaptized infants to an eternity in hell. They were like, okay, enough with like the strict shit. Like, what about this? So that's how kind of it all emerged. And this region of New York just kind of happened to be like the perfect storm, perfect scenario in which this could kind of unfold. And then it like caught on, So there are like a couple of big dudes within spiritualism. So there's the writings of Emanuel Swedenborg and the teachings of Franz Mesmer, and that provided an example for those seeking direct personal knowledge of the afterlife. So Swedenborg claimed to communicate with spirits while awake, and he described the structure of the spirit world. And two features of this particularly resonated with early spiritualists. One is that there's not a single hell and a single heaven, but rather a series of higher and lower heavens and hells. So, like degrees of it. And second, that spirits are intermediates between God and humans. So the divine sometimes uses them as a way to communicate. Mesmer did not contribute religious beliefs, but he thought a technique later known as hypnotism, or he brought a technique, known as hypnotism. And he said that it was claimed it could induce trances and cause subjects to report contact with supernatural like beings. So that's where you get the term of like mesmerize. It comes from mesmerism and hypnotism and all that shit. So anyway, so that's just like a fun little fact for you. And then there are, of course, links to like reform movements, like I talked about, like with women's suffrage and slavery and ending that. There is, of course, also the Fox sisters who I've talked about, who were like basically the world's best con women. I love them. I love them so much. But many early participants in spiritualism were radical Quakers and others involved with the mid-19th century reforming movement. And these reformers were uncomfortable with like more prominent churches because those churches did very little to fight slavery and like even less than that to advance the cause of women's rights. So that's really cool. The most popular trance lecturer prior to the Civil War here in America was Cora L.V. Scott. She was like young and beautiful. Like men were fascinated by her on stage because she was just like, I guess, the bomb diggity to look at or whatever. And her audiences were struck by like the contrast between her like physical girlishness and the eloquence with which she spoke of spiritual matters, and found that in that contrast, support for the notion that the spirits were speaking through her. So basically they were like, she's too pretty to be speaking this eloquently. It must be dead people.
It's always dead people.
Which is like so annoying. She went on to marry 4 times, and on each occasion she adopted her husband's last name. And during her period of greatest activity, she was known as Cora Hatch. Another famous female spiritualist was Achka W. Sprague, who was from Vermont. At the age of 20, she became ill with rheumatic fever and credited her eventual recovery to intercession by spirits. And she was very, very popular as a trance lecturer, and she traveled around the U.S. until her death in 1861. And then she was a known abolitionist and an advocate of women's rights. Yeah, another prominent spiritualist and trance medium was Pascal Beverly Randolph, who was a man of mixed race, who also played a part in the abolitionist movement. And nevertheless, many abolitionists and reformers held themselves aloof from the spiritualist movement. But among the skeptics, of course, was actually the well-known abolitionist Frederick Douglass. He was like, no, this is like not a thing. Another social reform movement with significant like spiritualist ties was the effort to improve conditions of Native Americans. We love this. So, there was a woman, Catherine Troy, who did like a study on this for like Native American ghosts in seances. And she said, quote, undoubtedly on some level, spiritualists recognized the Indian specters that appeared at seances as a symbol of the sins and subsequent guilt of the United States in its dealing with Native Americans. Spiritualists were literally haunted by the presence of Indians. But for many, that guilt was not assuaged. Rather, in order to confront the haunting and rectify it, they were galvanized into action. The political activism of spiritualists on behalf of Indians was thus the result of combining white guilt and fear of divine judgment with a new sense of purpose and responsibility. Fine. Like, I'm all for it. You know, like, whatever. There were, like... So then, of course, over time, we developed people who were, you know, very staunch believers, but of course, in opposition, people who were very, very skeptical. And there were a number of scientists who investigated the phenomenon, but they also became converts, and they were like, yeah, okay. This included chemist and physicist William Crookes, evolutionary biologist Alfred Russel Wallace, and physicist Sir Oliver Lodge, Nobel laureate Pierre Curie, aka related to Madame Curie, Marie Curie.
Oh.
Yes, was impressed by mediumistic performances of Eusapia Palladino and advocated their scientific study. Other people included journalist and pacifist William T. Stead, and physician and author Arthur Conan Doyle, a.k.a. Senor Sherlock Holmes, the author of him, which is crazy. So,
Fancy.
I know. Doyle lost his son Kingsley in World War One, and he was also a member of something called the Ghost Club. So, the Ghost Club was founded in London in 1862, and its focus was the scientific study of alleged paranormal activities in order to prove or refute their existence. And famous members of the club include Charles Dickhead, I hate him, but it's fine, Sir William Crookes, Sir William F. Barrett, and Harry Price. And the Paris seances of Eusapia Palladino were attended, like I said before, by Pierre Curie and, of course, Marie Curie. The New York City physician, he was a big deal. John Franklin Gray was a prominent spiritualist, and Thomas Edison wanted to develop a spirit phone, which was this ethereal device that would summon to the living the voices of the dead and record them for posterity. So pretty wild shit. Yeah.
I feel like I've seen that in use recently. With the whole Gabby Petito thing, they like brought a radio to where they believed she was present.
Yeah.
And it was like they were hearing voices through the radio.
Right.
So I'm wondering if that's the is that the phone?
Maybe that's Tommy's phone. Yeah. All of these claims of the spiritualists and around ghosts and everything was eventually investigated by the Society for Psychical Research, which was founded in London in 1882. And it set up a committee on haunted houses.
Love that.
I was born in the wrong time. I swear to fucking God. There were prominent investigators who exposed cases of fraud, and they came from a variety of backgrounds, like professional researchers, it was Frank Prodmore from the Society of Psychical Research. There was also Harry Price of the National Laboratory of Psychical Research, and professional conjurers like John Neville Maskelyne. He exposed a prominent couple of brothers, they're called the Davenport brothers, by appearing in the audience during one of their shows and explaining how their trick was done. Magicians and writers on magic have a long history of exposing fraudulent methods of mediumship as well. So during the 1920s, Harry Houdini undertook a well-publicized campaign to expose fraudulent mediums, and he was adamant that up to the present time, everything that I've investigated has been the result of deluded brains. So, and so
I'm gonna use that as an insult.
Deluded brains. I love that. It was overall for a long time an unorganized movement. It spread very quickly throughout the world. Once it got going, I was like, shit, everybody wants in on this. But of course, throughout the world, it was really mostly focused in the UK and the United States in particular as the most popular locations. But it was worldwide. Spiritualist organizations were formed eventually in America and Europe. And these were the London Spiritualist Alliance. There were some other ones as well, and they published a newspaper called The Light, which would feature articles on seances and ghosts, and there were advertisements for mesmerists and patent medicines and whatever. So it was pretty crazy. Like I said, it was mainly a middle and upper class movement, and it was especially popular with women. Probably because they couldn't fucking catch a break anywhere else, and these people were like, hell yeah, women's rights. So American spiritualists would meet in private homes for seances. The upper class would hold full-blown just seance parties, which I can get down with that. They would do it at lecture halls for trance lectures, conventions, summer camps, all kinds of shit. And the movement itself was extremely individualistic, with each person relying on his or her own experiences and reading to discern the nature of the afterlife. So organization was slow to appear, but it started, and when it did, it was initially resisted by mediums and trance lecturers, and most members were content to just attend Christian churches, and particularly Universalist churches, that a lot of spiritualists would attend, which is strange to me that they would go to these places, but yeah. And then, after the 1920s, which was the end of the peak of it kind of evolved in three separate directions. Which was syncretism, which it didn't have any hierarchy or dogma. It was organized in circles centered on mediums and clients. And then there was spiritualist art, and that was those who the spiritualists they communicated through their art, and they would use that for they would say that spiritualism had a pervasive influence on artistic consciousness. And so there's even pioneers, and it's argued that spiritualism actually inspired abstract art by certain people like Mondrian big names. And then there's also the Spiritualist Church, which is like a formal organization, and it's patterned after Christian like denominations. It established like liturgies. There's like a set of 7 principles. Like it's a whole thing. And then yeah, of course, it's kind of spun off into like these different organizations that did research into this shit. And in a nutshell, that's your crash course on spiritualism. It's a wild fucking thing, and it lasted for a long time at its peak.
Yeah.
And arguably it's still happening today. I would say we're even maybe perhaps in like the midst of another spiritualist movement, because now you're starting to get like more and more people interested in like ghost shows and like going to psychics and mediums and like tarot cards and like, all this shit and communicating with the dead or whatever. So I would argue we're maybe in a little bit of a second movement of it, but that's just my opinion. The end.
Well, that was a very great topic. Thank you for covering it.
Thank you.
To the table. It was stunning.
Stunning. Thank you to the many people who requested it. I actually wrote a big portion of my thesis in college on the spiritualist movement. So like this is something very near and dear to my heart that I enjoy.
It's right up your alley.
It's right up my shit. So it was nice to have a little refresher on it because it's been a while and it's a good time.
Thank you, Oddities.
And yeah, petition to bring back just like seance parties.
By the way, just
the screaming,
because I just said Oh, you can hear the screaming.
I can.
It's not coming up on my.
Oh, okay, that's cool.
No one can hear it.
Okay, cool. You were saying.
I swear they're fine. They're just really crazy. Anyways, I was doing podcast stuff today, and I went to go to our spreadsheet. And instead of writing oddities in my search bar, I put poddities.
I love that. I love that so much.
And on that note, I guess I'll just jump into my topic.
We should have called it Poddities. A podcast of oddities. Poddities.
Nobody take it. We might.
Nobody take it. We might.
Anyways.
Don't touch that. It's trademarked. All right. Take it away.
Today I'm covering nothing other than the Devil's Chair.
Same. That's where I sit. In an
ordinary cemetery lies a not-so-ordinary object, a monument erected by John C. Baird, known most commonly as the Devil's Chair.
It's just a chair in the middle.
In the middle of a cemetery. A stone chair.
That's where I need to be. That's like where I live permanently in my mind.
Are you ready to know where this is?
Hit me. Tell me it's New Jersey.
Located in Kirksville, Missouri.
Oh, Missouri. Jesus. I love it.
The Devil's Chair. Devil's Chairs are commonly known actually throughout the world. Apparently, this is a recurring thing. They are objects of ancient and legend mystery, but interestingly enough, this particular chair, according to several different sites, is one of the most well-known, recognized example in the United States.
I love that.
Ghost sites and historical sites pictured the Kirksville Monument as leading example of the paranormal and mysterious phenomenon.
Phenomenon.
And honestly, I'm looking at the chair, and it doesn't look very comfortable to sit in. So I don't know why you'd be intrigued to sit in it. Just want to throw that out there. Many myths surround.
I gotta be honest though. I would definitely go sit in it, at least for a short period of time.
Gosh, that's where it's gonna get funny. But I'll get to that in a minute. Many myths surround the stone symbol. Legends speak of good or bad luck going to whoever sits in the chair. Some believe that those brave enough to sit will have good luck bestowed upon you, while others believe that those who sit and disrupt the souls will be punished. And I mean,
two totally
polar opposites.
Just polar.
Right?
Yeah. Okay. Cool. Sure.
For this monument in particular, the most recognized outcome happens on a particular day every year. Halloween.
Yes! Perfect.
For those who enter the cemetery find this monument on Halloween, a terrible event will occur. It is believed that if you sit on this marble chair for long enough, the hand of a rotting corpse will break through the ground and drag you to the depths beneath the stone. For those who truly defy the sanctity of the chair, the devil himself will appear before them and drag them down to hell.
Oh my God, fuck me up. I would love to witness that shit. Hell yeah. Drag my ass.
With such different beliefs, maybe the best luck would not to be risk sitting on it at all. So here's where I had such a very hard time taking this topic seriously. And I'm going to look for the site exactly. Okay, ready? Anyone seated in the chair at midnight or on Halloween will be grabbed by a corpse hands and dragged under or given superpowers or something like that. That's literally what this sentence says, and I died. Because
this is the high quality research we bring you on Oddities.
I was like, wow, it got serious and then or something. I don't know.
I love this whole thing because it was like good luck or bad luck.
So I would like to invite our listeners to, when they listen to this episode, to comment on our Instagram, and would you, yes or no, sit on the devil's chair?
Yeah, tell us. Would you sit on Papa Devil's lap? I can't. Oh, God.
So.
Oh, what's happening? Oh, my alarm's going off. Sorry.
It's fine.
I was like, where is that coming from?
Remember, Cassie's two glasses in. Anyways.
Yeah, everybody. That's why I say things like Papa Devil's lap.
Oh. That should probably stay in. Anyways, so
absolutely.
That is the devil's chair. Apparently there are several throughout the U.S., but a lot throughout the town. This is the quality you're getting. I'm sorry.
Welcome to Oddities, everybody. I love this whole episode. Would you sit in it? I would sit in the chair.
I would stare at it.
You wouldn't sit in it? You'd be too spookalabookalaed?
Looking at it, I get very unsettled vibes.
Really? I'm going to have to look at pictures of it. If I'm going to do it, though, I'm doing it right. I'm going on Halloween at the time, and I'm going to see if anybody grabs my ass.
just sit
specifically
down and
my ass.
Grab your butt.
Give that a little pinch. Yeah. I love that. Good. How did you find it?
I think I had fallen down a rabbit hole of finding so much crap in Missouri that I continued looking for crap in Missouri.
Missouri is the new Sandhill Crane. I don't know what's happening at all.
I don't know what's happening either.
Yes. Same.
Stop. Dear Lord. How many times have I said I'm sorry on this? Anyways, until next time.
Stay strange. God.